Your host, Tami Hill Thomas. Good day. We're so glad you're joining us on the Power Up today. Welcome aboard. Let's get right into it within the news. Today, we want to discuss the continued fight, the continued war, and in its impact on the citizens in Palestine. New mass displacements of Palestinians fleeing fighting, their health facilities crammed with people seeking refuge and food, continues to be alarming and elevated by the World Health Organization. Teams from the World Health Organization have undertaken high missions to deliver supplies needed just to exist. With partners, with hospitals, with outreach from northern and southern Gaza, witnessing intense hostilities, high patient loads, and overcrowding caused by people displaced by conflict seeking refuge. Can you imagine how someone may have just taken harbor in your neighborhood and you are now just a regular citizen impacted by their choice, their violent activities? Family, we must continue to elevate our heart across the water and thank the World Health Organization for continuing to sound the alarm on the humanitarian effort undergoing in Palestine. The World Health Organization's high risk mission teams have built two hospitals and yet still don't have enough supplies. They've put out an alarming, massive cry to other entities to help where they can and as much as they can, delivering fuel and essential health services. While it's all running low, the poor individuals, those who are just in harm's way, need our help, at least our awareness of the fight. Go to World Health Organization at who.int for more information. Also, we want to take this opportunity at the Power Up to share information elevated by the Center for Disease Control. You all know it's flu season. I just got over it personally. Do you know that the flu is worse by statistics this year than ever before? The CDC shares information on how you can prevent babies and seniors who are the most vulnerable to the flu, and it's how they can succumb to the complications of the disease once it hits their systems. See, there are folks that are already compromised. Their immune systems need assistance. Maybe they live with other health issues. Once the flu compromises your immune system, arrest even, then it's hard to do regular things like just breathing. So we want to elevate for you to please go to the Center for Disease Control. They offer information on the flu vaccines. If you have questions, you're not sure if your mom should get it, even what your baby should do, there's information that can help share the list of complications compared between young and those who are healthy or even impaired seniors. But the increased risk is primarily due to the change in immune defenses, and that changes with age as well. So, we would for you to consider how you can prepare your family. Learn about the influenza, learn about its activities, how it's elevated across the country, yes, even in your neighborhood, and what you can do to stay aware and elevate this information to help the community around you. See, sometimes the flu has mild illness i- information or responses, right? Sometimes it's not so severe, is my point. Sometimes you won't necessarily be running someone to the hospital. It might just be small symptoms that you can be aware of so you can protect your family, your household, your mama. Make sure that everyone around you is educated and equipped so we can all live a safe life. And should you encounter the flu and know what the symptoms are, what you should immediately do so that you can get the medication that will help the healing process. Do you know that if you get checked with the flu at its early stages, there's a medication that can help your recovery? The problem becomes those of us that decide to self diagnose ourselves, and it's only a cold and I'll get over it. And 2 weeks go by and you haven't been able to shake that. The medication and the healing process can then be longer and even more detrimental. Family, get educated. The Center for Disease Control at www.cdc.gov has information readily available for prevention, protection, and helping you on the other side should your family need to recover. They are a viable government agency that is seen as a resource and stands on the front line for healthcare. We at the Power Up are so glad to continue to bring you more information every segment, the what you need to know, not just across the water, because our hearts remain extended to our brothers and sisters in other lands. Remember, we're all part of one human race. It's only our skin that's different. Consider how we can be educated. Go to who.int to get information about what's going on in Palestine and Gaza, even how you might be able to help with those missionary efforts and protecting your family during this flu season by going to the Center for Disease Control, cdc.gov. Family, we're excited to bring a guest today with so much that's going on across the United States, even across the world. We're bringing an expert. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks of the Amazing Fab Five, and I am here to tell you to tune into the Empowered Morning Show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the WIN Network.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. We thank you for taking this opportunity to be equipped, educated, empowered, and elevated so you can make a difference where you are. You know why? Because each of us makes a different impact in the world. And the guest we have coming to join us is no different. We're going to welcome Marques Ford, who is a community advocate in the Georgia state and housed in DeKalb County with your impact in McDonough, Georgia, certainly around the world. So, Marques, one of the things that we in our production team elevated was the alarming rate of violence by young people in the United States. Here's a statistic: 123,000 serious violent crimes have occurred by individuals between the ages of 12 and 17 since 2021. 123,000. Knowing that youth and kids is your heart, knowing your impact in the world, how you're an educator, an academic influencer, and part of a grassroots work. Please share tips what we should know in the community.
First of all, thank you for having me on your show, Tami. I've been watching and I'm so extremely proud to be here. But to to answer your question, what we can do as a group as a whole is to get involved. That is an alarming number: 123,000 kids that are killing, not only killing each other but killing others. Me being a teacher of 6 years in the middle school system of that age range, it is very, very imperative that we are hands on with our children. A lot of times when we send our kids to school, we don't know what they deal with at the school most times, mostly because we're not there. But being on the inside of the school system, I was able to see firsthand what it took and what it takes for us to guide our children. What we need to do, first of all, is to be involved and be active in our children's lives, whether you're parents, whether you're mentors, coaches, whether you are aunts, uncles, whatever relationship you have, be active in our lives. Secondly, we need to show our children love. A lot of times when I spoke with my students, I understood that they were dealing with so much at home that we didn't realize, and all they wanted was somebody to listen. All they wanted was somebody to have a listening ear, and to not only just give them advice, but to just say, "I'm here for you." It is just by the grace of God that I'm able to still keep in touch with most of my kids today. They're going on to college, military, they in the workforce, but they all make sure they check in with me and make sure they reach out and let me know, "Hey, Coach Ford, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I just want to check in with you. I haven't talked to you in a while." And it does my heart great. It does my heart good when I get text messages and messages on social media saying what you did or what you said changed my life. And so it is very imperative that we all get active. We all show them attention, show them love, and be a listening ear to our children.
Man, is it that simple though? I gotta take this opportunity to push the expert.
Yes.
You are someone who doesn't just breathe the work, but trains others on how to help. You're an outreach advocate, a youth advocate, someone who doesn't just say, "Do it," but then trains experts on how to train others. So if we can, if you would delve a little bit deeper for me, what do you mean? What examples can you share when you say that we just need to get involved?
Being an advocate, being a youth advocate, and also being a community advocate for over 15 years now. What we have to do is we have to get out into the streets ourselves. Being inside of buildings, being inside of four walls, and reaching out via phone is not good enough. We have to go where they are. We have to meet the people where they are and meet the need where it is. It's easy to just it's easy to go online and look up information. You can look up different places where you can go and participate. You can look up different community outreach programs where you can go and be a part of. But what we have to understand is that going out to these places are good, but when you go out into the street and see what they're dealing with, and see where they are, and see what it is that they are suffering from, and see what it is that they need, it makes everything more clear. Because we can just go and do simple stuff. Of course, it's easy to go and have toiletry bags. It's easy to have clothes drives. It's easy to have food drives. But what do they need? Right now, there are thousands of people right here in the city of Atlanta, thousands of people without homes that are living under the bridge, under the expressways, living out in the streets, living in boxes that don't have anywhere to go. And what we have to do is go and make sure we can pick them up, take them to a shelter. You can give them clothes. You can give them blankets. You can get out with your community, with your local churches, and make sure that you're being not only being an advocate, but you're actually being not only an advocate, but you're being consistent with it. Don't just be there one day. Don't just be there when somebody posts, "We're having a clothes drive this day." Every week is a good thing. Every month is a good thing to do it. Don't just do it just because it's the holiday season. A lot of people do around Thanksgiving. They do food drive. They feed the hunger on food. When it gets cold, they do clothing drive, and that's it. But we have to be hands-on. We have to be in the streets, and we have to meet the people where they are. Don't be afraid, because they would rather see you than for you to just ship something to them. They would rather see you in the street with them, talking to them, communing with them, giving them comfort, giving them hope, giving them encouraging words. Because one day, you never know, but one day that could be you. And that's one of the main reasons that keeps me going, because I say to myself, one day that could be me, or that could have been me. But since I'm not, I have to use my resources and what I have to make sure that the next man is able and willing and ready to go out and do what it is that needs to be done for the people in the community.
Yeah, that's so great, and I love hearing your heart. You can hear your passion just from your speaking about kids. I want to shift though, if I can, because kids become grown folks.
Yes.
Tell us, with even the work that you're doing to outreach, the how factor. What advice or tips do you recommend for those who may have that fear or may not even know what first steps to take? What do you recommend that they do? We, the community, that need to start doing the work. What's the how?
The how, first of all, one thing I can say is make sure that you are safe when you're doing it. You do not want to go out into the community by yourself. Make sure you have others with you, not just for protective purposes, but so that people can see that there's strength in numbers. Because what we have to realize is that when we go out by ourselves and see these things, we can't do everything on our own. It takes a village. It takes a group to go out and help and do the work. Not only that, but what you also want to do is you also want to be informed. Be informed. Listen to the news. Read the newspaper. Read your local headlines, whether it's online or you have it on you have our devices in our hands. Be informed about what's going on. Be informed about what's happening. Also, get in touch and get in tune with your community leaders. Sometimes, they have the power. They have the wherewithal to make something happen, but it takes a voice to reach out to them. I mean, too long we sat by the wayside and watched our ancestors and our forefathers do the work. Now it's up to us to do the work. And some of us that are community leaders, be more active. If you are a community leader, if you are an activist, if you are in your local government, if you are in some type of office in your government around your city, go out and be active. Go out and see what's going on. Don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Because what we understand, seeing is believing. And when the community sees their community leaders and their community outreach activists or their local governmental leaders, when they see them out in the street doing the work, it makes it easier for the community to get involved, because everything starts with the head. If the head is not doing anything, it makes it a lot harder for the community to get involved. But if we see the head of an outreach organization, or if we see the head of your local government get out into the streets and get involved, it gets the community riled up to do better. And also, you must have a passion to do for your community. There's no way you can live somewhere and not have a passion for where you live. Some of us probably just go to work and go home. We go to our church and we go home. But a lot of us who are out here in the streets working, we have a passion because we want to see our community better. What better place to do the work than in your own backyard? There's no way. I have children. I can't have my kids running around here and not see me being involved, and not see me doing anything for our community that we live in. I want to make my community safe for my children. So what do I have to do? Get out and get involved. Get involved, be informative, have people with you, because it takes a village. Also have a passion for what you do.
I asked the how. I asked, tell me how we can do it. And I wish I was writing as fast as you were talking, because you gave tangible tips, even if we took one of them. So I do want to tap into the other side of you that a lot of viewers may not. You are a motivator. You are someone who has no problem inspiring, uplifting, using your voice, using your hands, using your stature, using your platform. So we see you are the host of Reactivate the Moment.
That's right.
On the Be Empowered Network. Please tell us about it. What made you start that with all the other work that you're doing as an activist and so forth?
Well, for Reactivate, it was a passion that I had deep inside of me. I honestly didn't realize it. I realized I had it until I started working in the school system. And when I started working with the kids, I was able to motivate them to do better. And what better way than to take what I'm using on a daily basis, just something that I do, and to create a platform for it. So Reactivate the Moment is simply just a platform that I created that is meant to empower, to motivate, to instill wisdom, to instill hope, to instill courage in someone, and to help somebody be the best version and reach the best version of themselves. My sole purpose for Reactivate the Moment is to make sure that I instill in those to make every moment count. Reactivate the Moment is simply just a platform where I reactivate anything that's been lying dormant, whether it's your passion, whether it's your lifestyle, whether it's your finances, whether it's you wanting to start a business. My whole purpose for Reactivate the Moment is to jump charge and get a push and get a jolt in those individuals, to encourage them to do better and to be the better version of themselves.
Wow, pardon my delay. Wow, that's so awesome. Okay, so the wonderful motivator advocate that you are. Certainly, there's no one who's a one-man show. Help me with those who might want to see you on this show or on your show or see you on a platform speaking and say, I want to do that. I want to be like that. What tips would you have for how they should start, whatever they believe that to be? Because we know folks only see the tip of the iceberg, they don't see underwater. So what would you share as insight for someone who just wants to grow to believing they can accomplish what they see you doing?
The first thing I would say is to just have a mind to do it. A lot of us, they don't have the wherewithal or the mindset to get out and just start. It took a while for me to get to this point. A lot of people would tell me, you need to put this, you need to do this on a daily basis. You need to post this, you need to do this. And so I said, okay, let me try it. And so I just got it set in front of a computer. First, I started with my phone, sat in front of my phone, propped it up, and was able to speak life into others. So I would say, just go out and just do it. Um, Whatever you do, whatever you have a passion for, just do it. And if you fail, that's okay. Get back up again. Keep trying, keep pushing. There was a time when I stopped doing it for like 2 or 3 years because I fell into a depressive state. I had surgery on my eye, and I had to lie dormant, lie face down for 8 weeks. And within those 8 weeks, the only thing I can think about besides my family was the fact that I could be losing my following. I had a strong following at the time, and I'm like, man, I got real depressed because I'm thinking about I could whether or not I'm going to be blind, or if I'm going to be able to see, or how I'm going to get back from this. And it took me a long time to get back on my feet. But what I did was I thought about the people. I thought about those that need to hear this. I thought about those that need to see someone that is of like-mindedness, that needs to see someone that is of the same kind of stature, same kind of background, someone that was real, not a celebrity, not somebody that they see all the time, but somebody that was real, that would give them the motivation that they need. And I began to speak life into myself and be able to push myself. So I would encourage you to, if you're that person that's kind of dormant and kind of laying stagnant, not knowing what you want to do or how you want to do it, all you have to do is just try. And no matter what you see, don't think about your followers, don't think about the viewers. Think about your goal. Think about what you're trying to do. Think about who you're trying to reach. And somebody that you're trying to reach, somebody in your audience is going to hear you, and they're going to see you, and they're going to say, you know what? I don't care what he says. I can do that. I want to do that. I want to push others. And then you'll be able to not only push others, but then they'll push others, and so on and so forth. And it'll be like a chain reaction or a domino effect. So I would encourage you to just find your passion, find what you want to do, and just do it. There are so many platforms out there, so many tools out there. You can go online and Google everything that you need. But if you have a phone in your hand, if you have access to a smartphone, that's all you need to get started, and everything else will come into place. And you will see your platform grow, you will see your followers grow, and then you'll be able to expand from that. But all it takes for you is to just go ahead and just do it. Like Nike said, just do it.
I love that. Listen, I want to take this minute and go there though. We're coming out of um, an old season, a holiday season, a prior year, stepping into a new season. And you hit a word that is really we've seen a lot through the holidays, and that's that mental health is real. Mental illness tends to elevate over the holidays, where depression becomes one of those symptoms that individuals live with. So, knowing that individuals are watching us that might be dealing, or their family members that might have other family members, maybe with diagnoses, or they don't know what to do. Any ideas or tips that you would share from your experience of working with kids and others, and even in your transparent moment?
The first thing I would say is talk to someone. Find somebody that you trust. Find somebody that you confide in, and talk to someone. What I had a tendency of doing is to hold things in. I've always been that person where I would hold things in and not express myself, because I was more concerned about others than I was about me. I was the guy that made sure that others were taken care of, and so when by me bottling those feelings and bottling those things up, it began to reach a breaking point to where I would end up just being depressed, end up lashing out at other people, end up lashing out at my kids sometimes, maybe, and lashing out at my wife sometimes. And I realized that I had a problem I had to deal with. And so what I did was I found somebody who I can talk to. My biggest advocate is my father. My father, I call him my therapist. I talk to my father 2 or 3 times more, maybe more than that, a day, just to talk. And I've always been that person. If I'm able to get it out, then I'm cool. And for those of you that are dealing with those type of things, or maybe feeling that, because I didn't know what depression was or what mental health was until I reached that state. And I'm like, man, I might be going through a depressive state. Find somebody that you trust, that you can confide in, and also be willing and be ready to just communicate. Open yourself up. Don't harbor those feelings. Don't harbor your emotions. Speak out. Talk up. Get it out of your system. Get it out of you. Somebody is there to listen. You don't have to. If you want to go to therapy, seek therapy. If you don't have anybody around you, find therapy. A lot of our insurances, for those of us that have jobs, cover that. And you may not know that. Yes, therapy is covered under your insurance. Just research that if you need to. But also don't be afraid to express yourself. A lot of times people are afraid to say, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want anybody to see me like this. I'm used to being the strong one. I'm used to being the one that is always has everything together. No, you don't have everything together all the time. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show your weak side. It's okay to surrender yourself and say, you know what, I need help. For those of you that need help, seek it. Seek the help you need, and watch your life change. Don't just allow yourself just to go along day by day having these feelings, having these anxiety attacks, having these depressive moments, and you're still just living, because what that does is it keeps you from living. And if you want to live, seek help. That way your life can be so much better than what it once was.
Powerful. Thank you, sir. Listen, we're going to have you back. I'm just putting it out there now. And I want to thank you for joining us. But before you go, and thank you for speaking life and hope in response to the how can folks start moving forward out of a depressive state. But, you know, there's so much going on in the world, so much trauma. And I often share on this show, a lot of it is unwarranted and unwelcomed. We didn't ask for a pandemic. We don't ask for death or sickness. There are some things that we're just subject to. So before you leave us, if you would take a few seconds, the reactivator that you are, and share any insight or final words or thoughts that you would love to pour into our viewers.
No, absolutely, and I'm glad you. And once again, I thank you for allowing me to be on your show. And anytime you need me, I am always here. No matter what I have going on, I will always make time for you, Tammy, and I appreciate it. But to your point, I want to talk about hope, and just a quick definition, real quick. Hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. What we have to understand is in our trying times, in the time that we are feeling downtrodden, in the time that we are feeling maybe depressive, in the time that we are feeling those lows that we feel. We used to feel high, now we feel low. I want you to get one word into your system, one word into your mind, and that word is expectation. Because at the end of it all, everything that happens for a reason, but the end of that reason is your expectation. When you go into any situation, when you go into any platform, when you go into anything that you're trying to do, there's always an expectation at the end. But what we have to do, we have to rely on the hope, and because that hope is going to give us what we expect. So if you expect good, you'll get good. If you expect bad, you'll get bad. We have to understand that the power of life and death is in our tongue. We have to speak life into our situation, speak life into our circumstance, speak life into ourselves, because when you speak life into you, hope happens. And what happens from hope? Expectation. And what are we expecting? We are expecting something good to happen in the end. The beginning may start off real well. We get to the middle, it may be a little rough. But the end of the thing is always better than the beginning of a thing. So I want to leave you with this. Your hope is going to get you through. Your expectations are going to get you through. Change your outlook. When you change your outlook on the thing, it will then indeed change the outcome of a thing. Change your outlook. Once your outlook changes, your outcome has got to change with you. So in other words, hope for the best and you'll get the best. Hope for the worst and you'll get the worst. Speak life into yourself and watch your situation change.
That's why we had you here today. The man, the expert. And when I tell you this gentleman is 100% on 1,000, 24/7, and open to any and everyone, from high-level millionaires, politicians, to the little boy in the classroom. We certainly appreciate you coming and sharing your insight. The Power Up will always offer a place for you to elevate advocacy and understanding, to educate us on how we can be better as humans for our community. Thank you so much, Pastor Ford, for joining us and for your impact in the academic community, as well as the outreach to those who are homeless and disadvantaged. Listen, we need more of you. But one of the things before I let you go that I just want to say again is thank you for not stopping at what your hands do, but continuing to train others so their hands can do work where they are as well. I'm in the Washington, D.C. area currently, and you're in Georgia. So look at how we can touch those in between and around us, and yet around the globe. Thank you for joining us. Family, promised you a powerful segment with an expert, and he will be back. But for now, stay tuned because there's more after this. Hey family, it's Tami, your empowerment coach with this elevation moment. Your presence in the midst of confusion can totally shift an atmosphere. There might be times when it seems like all hell's breaking loose, or maybe the total opposite, where you feel isolated, like there's nothing that's working for you. I want to remind you that the power of presence can totally make a difference in a moment. If you notice that individuals are in a confused state, or maybe they're a heightened, elevated atmosphere, and you bring the peace and the calm, can you imagine how that could move everyone into unity? And when you're in those places where you're just unsure, Do you know that tapping into advisors and resources can help you win? So come on, family. Where you are might be temporary. It might feel different, but just know you might be the answer, the change maker in the moment. Stand up, rise up, and go be great. Welcome back to the Power Up. As we continue to move forward with today's segment, we want to pause to honor a king. I'm grateful for the production team of the Power Up and the leadership of the We Empower Network to allow us to take this opportunity to honor the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His birthday, recognized as a federal holiday, is approaching during this month of January. And we're going to pause because his triumph, his legacy, his work has impacted generations and will continue to impact generations. So how wonderful is it that we just had an interview with a dynamic advocate who has continued to carry a torch that Dr. King trailblazed to uplift. So as we think about Dr. King and his birthday, as we think about all that he has done, we want to make sure to share some important lessons that you should know, that you should take time to share with others around you. Remember, we're each responsible for pouring into the next generation. So the kids that's in the family, in the community, outside your house, we should make sure to understand it's not just a federal holiday and day out of school, but the importance of service, which was how Dr. King lived his life. Some of the lessons that he left for us to remember was number one, to dare to dream that anything is possible and not to live in limits. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your dreams are, how big they might even be. Dr. King stood for justice for all. In fact, one of his most famous sayings, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. We ought to remember how important it is that we truly are brothers and sisters who happen to look differently. Another one of his legacy is to love and love hard and love others. Service means putting down self to put someone else's needs in front of you. So as we learn the action word of love, which starts with being patient and kind, then we're able to continue to carry Dr. King's legacy. Another is not to judge someone on their appearance. That includes those who are disabled. That includes those who just totally look different than we do. But to remember to have open communities, open dialogue, open laws and policies that are all inclusive and diverse. Thank you, Dr. King. Another legacy point is that he reminded us to push on and to persevere, that barriers don't matter, ceilings don't exist, boxes are obliterated. When it comes to the heart and the worth of the work, we do it without limits and must remain resilient, endure, and continue on to hold the banner high, whatever the cause is. So let's make this personal. If you're someone, thank you, Pastor Ford, who loves kids, then your calling, your push, Your perseverance should be advocating for everything that touches our babies, our youth, academically, education, healthcare, food, sustainability, environmental control, their basic needs, their futures. You have the power to make a difference where you are. Another wonderful point of Dr. King's life we should remember is his constant reminder of forgiveness, how we need to give a grace and allowance to others around us. You know why that's so important? You are the only amazing you who thinks like you do, walks like you do, acts like you do. But something you do may very well offend someone else unknowingly. It's happened to me. I did a whole big training once on unbiased and biasness, making sure that diversity and inclusion was incorporated, not realizing that something small I said and kept right on past offended someone. Did it stop me from my work? No. It, however, elevated my awareness, gave me the voice to immediately understand that these are individuals who are out there that are open and willing to learn, just want to be heard as well. We are to be open to allowing others' voice and stand up for the needs and rights of others. Another point of Dr. King's life. Dr. King was big, if you remember, on racial equality, on employment equality, and on justice for all. Can you stand up for what you believe in? Can you make a difference where you are and stand for what's right in the face of what's wrong? Family, I want to leave you with this one thought. Dr. King reminded us of the wonderful future of possibilities. All things are possible, but we have to live in the understanding that this is not the end. This moment we're in right now, we can celebrate. That's wonderful. But what about 10 years from now? Are you still going to be where you are? Do you still want to live in the 60s? And we're in the 2020s, y'all. We have to find ways to stay relevant and purposeful so that we can be the difference. Let me say that again: relevant and purposeful so that we can be the difference, where we get out of looking for someone else to do it and we decide, I can do it. I'll stand up and say it. I'll write it because it should be written. I'll go to the association meetings and share my voice. I'll do it. How about this? I'll make sure I'm registered to vote because every vote counts. I'll do it. Remember, all things are possible and the power lies in you. Thank you, Dr. King. The life and the legacy of an amazing human being, acknowledged by the United States federal government, so that we can sing that fabulous King Holiday song, wishing him a happy birthday. We do also want to recommend that if you're looking for resources, that you go to thekingcenter.org. The King Center, based in Atlanta, Georgia, the home of Dr. King, has all of the information, not just about his life, his impact, and his legacy, but how you can carry the banner forward and continue to be part of a great work. Thekingcenter.org, as run by his daughter, Dr. Bernice King. Family, you can also connect with information about Dr. King's work on social media. Let's use the information age. If you can take a picture and post that steak you just ate, you can also use it to gain information and share it with others so that we can ensure the next generation and the next after that understand justice, equality, and diversity all matter. Thank you, Power Up executives and producers. This is such an important pause that we honor the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're going into our wrap up. Stay tuned. There's more after this.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami. Wow, what a power packed, inspirational day. An uplifting opportunity to shift how we think about ourselves and gain knowledge at the same time. We started out with In the News, where we share our hearts to the families impacted, the communities in Palestine, who, because of bullies, a violent militia group who took harbor in that area, those poor people, those civilians who are living their life, have had to deal with destruction and lack. Get educated, the realness of what's going on and how you can make a difference. Even those who impacted in Israel and in all of the different war torn areas, including those in different countries. Family, Ukraine still dealing with war. There are natural disasters all around us, wildfires and hurricanes, those recovering from tsunamis. Listen, you can make a difference where you are. Go to the World Health Organization, WHO.int, to gain information about what's happening right now around the world, even how you can help. And consider how you can help your family during this flu season. Come on, we've got to stay knowledgeable and activate everything we have the power to in our homes and communities, looking out for our neighbors and making sure that those we even impact on our jobs, churches, wherever we might go, are all educated. So as we got equipped today, gained information from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, on how to prevent the flu and how to recover from it. You should also get resources, get educated so that you can be a voice of knowledge and then share that information. The Center for Disease Control at cdc.gov, a resource of information, much more than just the flu, but this is a great place to start. Even if you just have questions on, should I get the flu vaccine? That's where you want to go. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Family, we were joined by an amazing, earth changing, I mean, impacting the world, brother. Thank you so much, Marques Ford, for joining us. Make sure you tune into his show, also on the We Empower Network. Reactivate the Moment, sharing with us how we can support our youth, how we can get involved to make a difference, how we can help those around us dealing with maybe depression or mental illness, and most importantly, how we can do something to make a difference. Everything starts with the power of you. Thank you, Mr. Ford, Pastor Ford, outreach pastor, youth pastor in DeKalb County in McDonough, Georgia. We thank you for the work you've done as an academic leader and you're continuing to do on so many levels to so many people. Family, I forgot to ask him what's next. So I'm just going to stay tuned and we're going to bring him back for more. Family, leave understanding we have the power. Remembering that Dr. King's life was not in vain. We honor him here at the We Empower Network and on the Power Up Show. And we strongly encourage for you to consider how you can make a difference during King Holiday. It's more than just a day for a barbecue if you like being out in the cold barbecuing like my husband. It's more than just a day to take off and relax because you don't have to work. It's more than just about you. This is a day of service for a man who gave his life serving others. Happy birthday, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As we wrap up, the Power Up Show also wants to acknowledge and share our appreciation during this National Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. Yeah, I have the opportunity that most folks know to be a law enforcement chaplain with many different departments and bureaus. I have the opportunity to sit with those and support those who serve others. We see all the negativity about law enforcement nowadays because everybody has a phone up. Everybody makes sure the blast to blast the wrong. What we don't see are videos of bad dentists. We don't see the videos of the bad leaders, of those who are just disrespectful and bad in our community. So let us take the lens off of just the fact that there are bad cops, because that's a true statement. I'm a law enforcement chaplain. There's no doubt that there are bad police officers who abuse their power. That's not something that we have to argue. The same way we don't have to argue that Black Lives Matter was created by parents whose children were implicated or impacted by bad cops abusing their power. And if you don't even want to go down that road, we all watched and were traumatized by the George Floyd video. The brother who was under arrest and another cop put his knee on his neck, choking the life out of him. However, with all the bad, let me be the one to tell you, I've witnessed more good officers with heart that put that badge on every day, hoping to help somebody. I witness more that even though they stand in protest to protect, they get spit on and cans thrown at them and hate, but they're also still the ones that show up when we call in the face of an emergency. Let us take this opportunity to at least pause and appreciate those who try their best to help us when we are in need. I know of personal officers that I call friends. I watched one give money and buy groceries for a senior citizen, all because she heard her check was late. The mail couldn't come because of a storm. She went and bought groceries and took them, put them in her house, washed her dishes, y'all, to make sure that this senior was okay. I also know of another who I watched show up at a young boy's birthday party and bring other officers, all because he lost his dad, who was a police officer. They wanted to make sure that he knew he was not alone because his dad was not there. There's greatness in all of us, and we all have an opportunity in our jobs to make a difference. For those who serve and protect every day, hoping for good to make a difference, we honor you. We thank you. We appreciate you. There are more of you that go through training and show up and make this your everyday possibility that you could not go home, resource, lifeline, job, occupation, what you decide that you're going to do. And we thank you for putting your life in harm's way just to make sure we're okay. This appreciation month, we're not going to talk about the bad ones. We're going to leave that to the Justice Department. I think we've all shown how we will use our voices to educate and elevate issues, as you should. If you see something wrong, say something. I sure am. But also know we can come together with our differences to make our communities better and stronger. Consider how you can become part of the solution and how you can be the difference when the problem arises. One of the things I'll never forget during a protest for Black Lives Matter protest was watching someone who didn't even live in the area, who was not Black. Now understand, there were different ethnicities who marched with Black Lives Matter movements. And let's not just say Black Lives Matter. Let's say any protest for equal rights. Dr. King led protests for equal rights and equality. This is not something new. What needs to happen is you getting up and making a difference where you are. Your voice counts, and we need it now more than ever. Let us not wait to hear another 6 figures of youth-involved crimes. And you have the ability to coach. You have the ability to mentor. You have the ability to go volunteer at the school. You have an ability to make a difference. That's what this King holiday, that's what this appreciation month should be all about. Reminding us that first, gratitude is important. Everybody wants to hear thank you, wouldn't you? But also that our ability to be change agents for good far outweighs the bad in the world. I just want y'all to know I said something. Our ability to be change agents for good far outweighs the bad in the world. There's a scripture in the Bible that says evil can overcome good. And Dr. King, one of his most famous sayings is, evil can't overcome evil. Only good can do that. Hate can't overcome hate. Only love can do that. Consider how you can be the action person showing the good and showing the love to make a difference in your community first, and then watch it trickle down around the world. We appreciate our guest, Pastor Ford, who reminded us. He said he still has kids that he taught in middle school who have gone through college that keep in touch with him. Because when you make a difference, it sticks to that person, especially our children. I remember the teachers I love, and I'm in my 50s. Family, the Power Up thanks you for joining us today. And we want to encourage you to go be great, be all you can be, but most importantly, get up and be the best you possible and make a difference where you are. We'll see you next time.